Could this be the uprising that Africa needed to change, and it's being led by the Gen Zs of Kenya?
These young people have nothing else, just bags, flags and banners, the Kenyan flag. How can you tear gas your own people? Listen to them. Listen to these children. They're the future. They're 80% of our population. 80%. If they decided to turn against us, they can. And that is what they're doing now. They're touching our ancestral land where we bury our people. How can you tax us on land that belonged to us forever, since time immemorial? Are we going back to a colonial situation? It is not right. These young people need a future. They have no jobs.
Other African countries are very scared of what is happening in Kenya. Let me explain. So the whole world, especially Africa, have been seeing what is happening in Kenya. How Kenyan youth, especially the Gen Z, are giving their politicians wahala. Because of the coconut head of the Gen Zs in Kenya, other African countries now are beginning to be scared, especially their politicians. In a recent development, the Ghanaian politicians are beginning to show their fear. In fact, one of Ghanaian lawmakers warned his parliament, his fellow lawmakers, that they should be careful in passing any policy, that they should look at what is happening in Kenya, that the Kenyan politicians are running for their life, that please, they want peace in Ghana, they don't want to run for their life. In fact, let me know blessing Namibia talk and listen to what he said.
Brief the House on what he saw in Kenya, where Kenyan public are beating up members of parliament for passing bad laws.
So obvious that what the Kenyan youth, the Gen Zs are doing in Kenya is shaking the whole African country. You can give it to the Gen Zs of Kenya for pulling the revolution of Africa if eventually happen, because no country in Africa have done what the Kenyan youth are currently doing now. Maybe in the past, but in the recent days, nobody is doing what the Kenyan youth are doing right now. Yes, Nigeria is giant of Africa, but I think at this moment, Kenya is the god of Africa. So in all you do, respect the Kenyan youth, especially the Gen Z, because they are doing what you are scared of doing.
Something is going on in the spiritual world, in the realm, in the air of this continent of Africa. First of all, Kenya is doing the most, as we can see. Well, Kenyans are doing the most to change their country. South Africa is going through the most. I mean, we are barely surviving Mandela Day. The new Minister of Home Affairs in South Africa is kicking away foreigners. Meanwhile, at the same time, people are asking Africans to unite and they want a borderless Africa. Uganda is preparing for a marching strike on the 23rd of July. Ghana is preparing. Nigeria is preparing. Zambia is preparing. What? Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Natkunda Esther. If you are new here, please consider subscribing if you like my content. Like, comment, and share. And of course, here I really care about the comments because I want to know how people think. Go down in the comment section and tell me what you think about the situation. So in Kenya, Ruto has come out and accepted that he is the problem towards Kenya as a country. Kenyans have taken their frustrations to the streets day in, day out. They will not cease. They are fighting for their country. They want change. At the same time, some Kenyan people are saying that, you know what? We will not stop. We will lay our bodies for our country because revolution does not come cheaply. And I would like to pose this question to Black people in general. Do you think Black people freedom always has to come with a price? Do you always always Black people freedom has to come with the shedding of BLOOD? Do you think Black people freedom has to always be a struggle? And what confuses me is that we are doing this to ourselves as fellow Black people. You would expect such treatment from a white man. Like, we are no longer in the days where it's the white man that is ruling us, but then we still have to lose lives on leadership of a Black man.
Fighting for Kenya as a country, but fighting for Africa as a continent. Africa has been under colonization since time immemorial, since time and again. As the powers left, they left specific families in powers, thinking they would control the entire African continent. But time has come. Kenya is proving we can be able to pave a way for change, and change is coming. I tell you, change is coming. Wave of change is coming to Africa, and this is just the beginning. I am ready to die. Today is my birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to me. I'm ready to die on my birthday. As a 23-year-old kid, on a day nikamilishe masiku zangu na nikufe kama nina miaka zangu. What's your name? My name is Sydney Arisi Mugasia. I run a company, Lodon Consultancy Firm. My workers are at work at the moment. They're telling me, boss, fight for us. Boss, fight for us. And I will fight for them. I will die for them. That's all I have to say. Penny wengine coverage.
So I would like you guys to let me know in the comment section, apart from the white regimes where our colonizers did the most to us, to our ancestors, to our generations, to cause the stir and anger and the emotions that we have within us in those eras where the white people led and black people had to fight, those that came before us, and they had to fight for the freedom that we have today. You could understand they had to lay their bodies for freedom. But do you think it makes sense that in 2024 we are living in a continent as Africans where we have to lay our bodies on the hands of fellow black people? Do you think that's fair? A lot is really going on in Africa. Like, my goodness, like a lot is going on this continent right now. Like, I don't know if something is going on here in the hearts of Gen Zs, most especially Gen Zs. Something is going on here in African young people. When I see the hurts of, I'm a millennial, yo, I'm near 30. When I see these kids of 25 and below, like, I'm like, what kind of bravery did we miss as millennials? Like, were we cowards? Like, this generation is, guys, I don't even understand if people are understanding how big this is. The continent is, young people are shaking up this continent. It's crazy to watch. I am literally rooting for the I'm rooting for the youngins that even say, no, we will wake up and go again. No, you will not silence us on social media. Well, for us that have big mouths that can spread the message, this is what we can do. But as a millennial, I look at young people right now in Kenya and I go like, wow, look at me. I even never cared about the politics in my country. Really. Because, you know, in my head, I always cared about if you say something, you'll be. The government will take you out. That's what I always thought of. I see young men and women in Kenya and they're like, till my last breath. And so it's happening in Nigeria. And so it's happening in South Africa. And so, could this be the uprising that Africa needed to change this continent? Go down in the comment section and tell me what you think about whatever is happening around the globe, because I tell you, Africa is in the eyes of people. Africa is watching. Africa is the news. Africa is the center of attention. So go ahead in the comment section and tell me, do you think this is the moment we could have been waiting for? And Kenya has started the steps for the entire continent.